We all know that this is a classic, and it is one of my favorite plinkers. My main problem with this Crosman 760 is the plastic handle. It's purely subjective. Apparently the people at Crosman and probably the consumer prefers this long plastic handle. I'm used to the old 760 where it was easier to pump with a little block. So I took things into my own hands and made my own wood stock, which I prefer. So the pump handle is a Benjamin Tootsie Roll inspired design, and then I filled in the space that just a wood brace here, I guess. And that's what the rest of this video will be about, is how I made it. Notice how much easier this pumps because I get more leverage here. And you can pump faster too. It's made out of pine, so it's cheap for me to make. Making my own pump handle. I was going to make this out of wood and refurbish it, but now that I have the Benjamin Tootsie Roll handle out, and I'm restoring that, I've got the dimensions. Look at this. The holes are going to line up. The difference is, it's just a little difference in the length of it. I'm going to make this a sort of a Benjamin 300 series wood stock on my oldest gun and make it cool. And if it works, I can always make more because I have the tools necessary: a wood lathe, a drill press, and a router. It takes quite a bit of tools, maybe even a circular saw. It'll be a little bit till I get to it, but I thought I would video this as a start because this is where the concept came from. The prototype for the first 760 is done out of ash. A couple lessons learned. I need to space it a little different because the holes aren't exactly the same. They're close. So let's go with the latest 760, the smooth bore. This one, I've decided I'm going to use pine for the prototype. It's a lot easier to work with. I've marked where the holes will be, and then I need about an inch each way for smooth, and then equally spaced parts of the Tootsie Roll. Because of the weird shape of the plastic stock, I'm going to do a separate piece so that it'll just fit over it. So we'll have wood stock here, and then the Tootsie Roll portion there. I have discovered a design flaw already. Let me show you. I'm only going to be able to pump to there, so I'm going to have to figure out how much of that to cut off. Looks like we got them that they'll fit. I've got them both on the pump handles. I had to cut the fronts off of both of them about an inch. I'll do a little sanding there. But the next step, I'm going to have to do a concave cut there using the router table. I can't go down too much because I don't want to go any further with the wood. It'll probably split too easy. I have a bit for the router that'll do that, the shallow one there. I've used about every tool in my wood shop here. Turn a 2x2 into a pump handle. In position, I'll press it in, and there you have it. Look, I'm of course still have to drill the 2 holes, and that will require the drill press here in the back corner. I'm also going to use the lathe and routers, drill bits, chisels to make this a wood piece here to fit there. The prototype is done. There's your rough cut. I've got that sanded down. There it is. I've got it, and I just test fired it. It works great. Feels great. You can pump it up. I'll show that later. For right now, I'm going to sand this part here. It makes it a lot easier to pump it. And then I'm going to stain them both pieces gun stock. And I also threw on this, since Crosman parts are very interchangeable. This comes from the 3622, which I have a scope on. Seems to fit the personality of this little 760 now. I ran it through the chronograph, one to get the new stock in new art ledger book, and two to test it to see if it's changed any over the last couple years. When I ran it 2.5 years ago, it was in the mid 630s feet per second with the copperhead pellet. Now keep in mind that was the older copperhead. Those pellets may have been defective. I found out later. Anyway, I ran it again, got an average speed of 685 feet per second, kinetic energy of 5.4 foot-pounds, and a standard deviation of 5.3. I also ran the Humerax Hornaday, didn't run it 2 years ago. It's about the same, 684 feet per second. Lost a little bit on foot-pounds, gained a little bit on standard deviation, it's 4.7. But given that those pellets are a little bit more cost, I will just use Crosman copperheads. I did run 5 pumps, 564 feet per second, but a nice standard deviation of 1.4. There you have it for the up-to-date numbers. We're going to do a little bit of shooting here to finish this off. First at 10 yards. See if I can hit that Lysol type of can. That went all the way through. That was at 10 yards, so now we're moved out to 20 yards. Let's see what we could do here. It's a windy day, but I don't think it really impacts a BB that much because it's just a ball. Let's see. The last couple of shots were with the 3622. It's Big Brother, from which I got this sight. Helps to have a little extra foot poundage. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm contemplating keep in mind this is just a prototype. Have to charge, for labor on that, but I'm thinking about putting a couple on sale on eBay. I'll let you know in a short or something if anybody's interested in purchasing one if you've got the new 760s. I'm going to do a additional 2 videos on my other 760s. This one I haven't tried the shoulder stock because the BBs are stored in here, and this is primarily a BB gun, whereas the 9th variant is more of a pellet gun, and so I won't need to hollow anything out. Plus this one, it doesn't have the screw here. The old 760s had the screw like that. The stock goes up in there, so it's much more plausible to make the rear stock out of wood. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do that. And I would, on this one particularly, would like to hear what you got to say in the comments section, especially if people would be interested in me going to the effort to make these things. So see you on the next video.